And I believe we are live. All right. Welcome back to another one of this thing. I don't really know what I'm going to call it, but I'm going to call it a film review for now. Going to take a look at the Vanderbilt and Wake Forest game. I thought just initially before watching this, and haven't watched the condensed game. I've watched the full game a couple of times now, but it's the first time I've watched this one, so this will be interesting to see order it's in. I thought it was fine from Wake. I didn't think they did a ton spectacularly, but I also think they didn't need to do a lot perfectly in this game. This was going to be a game that I think was going to be let's clean up a bunch of mistakes, let's play just sound football, get in, get out, try to get out as healthy as humanly possible, go from there.
Here comes the kickoff, and we're starting a bit earlier today on this Saturday for some ACC football. This one goes back into the end zone.
It's been 2 straight weeks of them kicking the ball in the back of the end zone, whether that was Caleb Carlson against Elon, Tyler Black last week against Vanderbilt. Is it fixed? I hope so. So far, promising.
To collect some information at the line of scrimmage.
They spread it out.
Oh, this was such a bad.
Look here, lots of options for AJ Swan trying to show off his arm early, and he was looking for Logan Kyle. That pass is picked off. Malik Mustafa, this guy all over the field, and the interception on the first drive.
With AJ Swan, I understand what he was trying to do here. So Wake is essentially playing cover three. This guy has a man here. I understand what he wants to do here. He's trying to get his slot receiver the ball. Actually, it's cover one. And I don't. Even if the throw is better, like on the money, Slocum step for step with him this entire time. I thought Slocum played well. I didn't really understand his grade too much, why it was as poor as it was. But he's step for step with him the entire way. Maybe he's trying to throw up a PI ball, but I didn't understand that throw too much from Swan. But that was what Wake wanted to do in this game. Wake wanted to sit there and say, we're not going to do a ton. AJ Swan's going to make mistakes. As long as we can bait him into making mistakes, doesn't matter how much pressure we bring. Done.
That's a mistake early in the game that the young sophomore AJ Swan can't make. With that safety, Mustafa already pre-snap.
I mean, yeah, and again, like even if it's on target, at worst that ball is incomplete if it's thrown further. At the absolute worst. I also don't know why he didn't fair catch that, but whatever.
Thud right there inside the 15, so we step aside. They'll hand it off. Cedric Alexander breaking a couple.
Missed tackles. This was probably the more annoying thing from Saturday. Was that who's that coming off the edge?
They'll hand it off.
Yeah, he has to make that tackle. I think that's a linebacker. Okay, that's Quincy Bryant. I didn't like how they fit gaps that well at all. Okay, so Kevin Pointer comes across here. And he's in the backfield. That makes sense. He gets off his block, is in position, and then just misses the tackle. Wasn't great. Wasn't great. That's a 32 you probably need to get off the field.
Is the running back now for Vanderbilt. Swan in trouble. Lets it fly.
This is great. I like what they did here. So someone also asked why, someone like Kalen, in theory, he's supposed to be this lockdown corner, but gave up a bunch of short passes. I think there's another short pass that'll probably come up later here. He's supposed to be this lockdown guy. What happened? Why is he giving up these short completions here and there? I think he got targeted 8 times in a game, gave up, I think, 6 of them. What Wake did for the most part was, unless it's the slot receiver, because the slot is the hardest thing to play in football right now, because they can go so many different ways. So you really have to get your hand on the receiver at the line. They basically just said they were completely fine with letting Vanderbilt do whatever they wanted to do in between the 20s. They were like, especially on the 3rd and 15, just back off and just drive it. If they catch an 8 to 10-yard pass, that's fine. Make sure you just drive on the ball, drive on the guy, make a tackle here. So that's why you'll see guys basically this entire game of, we're just going to play off of the receivers, and they'll do that a lot, especially in games like this against a guy like AJ Swan, who's prone to making mistakes. The game that they did this in, that I think quote unquote famously, was 2021 UVA. I think I brought this up on the podcast, and I brought it up in writing. I think they played the exact same way against Brandon Armstrong in 2021. They did not care about what those receivers were doing between the 20s. They didn't really care too much about breaking 5 and 6 guys from the defensive line or from a linebacker. They just went, you know what? In this type of game where they have some really, really good receivers, we're not going to get beat deep. What we want to do is tackle well. If we get home, great, but we want to tackle well and just get off the field. If we get inside the 20, then we really lock down. And I thought they did a good job of that. Also, I think this is also really funny because someone like 2 weeks ago was trying to say, I've never seen a cornerback from Wake Forest follow a receiver across the formation. Hello. So Wake really only brings 3 rushers here. Quincy's supposed to be more of a spy. He's lined up here on the edge. He comes in as a rusher, but he's backing off. Like he's not rushing. This linebacker that's Dylan Hazen isn't rushing either. So they're only rushing, looks like, Kendron Wayman, Jasheen Davis, and 9. So Jalen Garnes. I'll do 91. So excuse me, that's 91. So Kevin Pointer. They're only rushing 3 people, and that was what they did a lot. They just wanted to say, here's someone that could be a spy. Hazen kind of spies as well. He doesn't really need. He's just more so occupying space. And then everyone else just take your section of the zone, go from there. Everyone else plays it perfectly. They almost get the swan, but doesn't matter. And you can see what I'm saying about them wanting Kalen to drive in. Kalen's very far away from 6. Like he's nowhere near 6. So if 6 catches the ball, whatever, because he drives just so far down on this guy. If he does throw the ball to him, Kalen can do, Kalen can tackle. So that's why they do what they do. Incomplete pass, get off the field. And that's how you get pressure and get off the field with only 3 rushers.
Taylor Morin is back for Wake Forest.
I thought the special teams have looked improved. There was a little miscue of Jamari in game 1, but otherwise I've thought the special teams have looked better.
Here's Claiborne. Look at him turn on the Jets.
I have been told Damon Claiborne has arguably the most God-given talent out of anyone on this football roster. Stuff like that is what we've seen in practice, both last year and this year, which is why I thought, and I mean, if there was ever a time I could have bet Damon Claiborne's rushing yards, it would have been last game. What happens here is, first, Damon's special, but secondly, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 guys in the box. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. So you're playing basically one-on-one at this point. Favorable box. We talked about this in the Elon game. So what does Damon decide to do here? They don't really get that great of a push up front. It looks like 55 does. They don't really get that great of one. Someone comes in and kind of blows things up. But Damon's just patient. He's patient. He's patient. And then he kind of realizes, oh no, I have a seal on the outside. They've got this pretty blocked off. Jamal Banks actually has this perfectly blocked off. That's how you want to see your receiver block right there. That's teach tape of you've got this guy locked in, pushes him back, bam. That allows, and since the right guard and right tackle have got their guys, that allows Damon to get outside. And that's both on Damon and both on the blocking there of, hey, Damon's patient enough to see what happens, but the right side of the line did their job there.
Has this covered. I mean, look at this. There's nowhere for Claiborne to go. He tries to hit it up the A gap. Just
Vandy is also so slow. They're such a slow team.
That's a 17-yard pickup. Going right back to him. Look at them run.
Now this is just Damon. They block it well, but this is one of the times where it's 5, but you see a 6th and 7th come in. 6 guys blocking, which means it's one on one with the running back and the receiver in the safety. 1 and Damon, they're 1-on-1. That's just silly. That's just silly. Damon is very good at running the football. He is very good at doing that. Wesley Rhymes gets a good block there at the end. Good. They mentioned arm tackles from Vandy. Vandy tried to arm tackle every single play on this game. I don't understand why. They look like they have never wrapped up ever in their life watching this game.
physical for you to throw an arm on it at it. He's going to run through those arm tackles every time.
And this is what you want to see from Mitch. I thought Mitch was fine. I didn't think Mitch was, elite. But I also didn't think he necessarily had to be. So you look at this now. They've got, I'm going to call this 6. I think this corner, number 1 is going to pass it off to 25. So you can call this 6 in the box. It depends on what you want to do with him, but I'll call this 6. This 6 in the box is usually where you can go, I can either run, I can either pass. You kind of figure out what you need to do there. And it's more of a, what do you want to do?
He's going to run through those arm tackles every time.
Mitch decides that, you know what, I don't like what these 2 guys are doing at all. I'm going to pull it. All he needs to do is just hit a pretty easy throw to the far hash. Does it. Easy conversion. Wasn't asked to do much. Just he did what he needed to do.
They're trying to get that extra, whether it be their nickel CM, CJ Taylor, or one of their safeties in the box.
Again, just an extremely light box. Like, at first, this is just, there's 5 people here for 7. There's just such a big hole. They did not want their corners to be anywhere near one-on-one coverage with these receivers. They only brought 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to count him just to be generous. 5 on 7. There's just not enough people. There's a good block here. Damon cuts. The balance is great there, but there was essentially 5 yards there just automatically given to Damon, and then it's just keep going straight. That's where it's both Damon did a good job, and also what Vandy did was just gifting yards at this point. Like, they put their people in just terrible positions. But hey, part of Wake's job and part of a job of a football player is, if I just do my job correctly, we should win. This is essentially the same throw, just on the different side. It's pretty much the same play, just on the different side. They just flipped it. What a snag. What a snag. I think Keyshawn is going to be the biggest beneficiary of having Mitch Griffiths here.
All the way through, which it sure looks like he does from that angle. A great one-hand snag.
Griffiths to the air. Tossing it up for Jamal.
So before we get to the thing on Jamal, because that's just silly. This is actually a halfway decent job of Claiborne. I think he could have done better, and there's a reason he graded poorly in pass blocking. He does all right there, and that's more so of what you need to see out of Devon. Like he still gets pushed way, 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 way back, and if Jamal isn't as open, then that play is probably dead on sight. Because I mean, Damon basically ends up to where Mitch is. But that's the reason why Damon doesn't play, 40 snaps a game, 50 snaps a game, because if it's a true passing game, not the passing game, but if it's a game where they're going to need to throw the ball a ton, you still hold your breath a little bit when he's pass blocking. Right there, did it fine. He has to still improve on that, but you still hold your breath a little bit. That's just unfair. 25 shouldn't be out there, but that's unfair from Jamal Banks. I know Vandy tried to get some help on corner in the portal and in the high school ranks, but that's Martel High Jr. That's a freshman. I'm going to take Jamal over a 5'10" freshman every single day.
Vanderbilt's got to start to attack the middle of the field more.
Hand it off to Patrick Smith. He's got the first.
Just didn't like how they fit the run here. I get it. Vanderbilt blocks pretty well here. They take some people out of the play here. But whoever that trips right there, that's Quincy. Quincy's got to keep his feet. Quincy does redeem himself later in the game. I did not like that from Deshaun. I remember during the game, I did not like that. This team has a lot of weaknesses, but their biggest strength is their wide receivers and the wide receivers' speed. This is one where if you're Deshaun, I understand, just trying to lay a big hit on him. You gotta wrap up here, buddy. That's the whole point of playing this type of coverage. You gotta wrap up. You can't sit there and throw a shoulder into somebody. Because I don't think it's necessarily hyperbole to say this is the best wide receiving group they're gonna play until they play Florida State in October, like late October. This group is easily a top half in the SEC, but they're better than ODU. They're, of course, better than Elon. They're better than ODU. They're better than Georgia Tech. They're better than Clemson. Until Clemson shows me something, they're better than Clemson. They're better than Virginia Tech with how they look right now, because Virginia Tech has lost Ali Jennings for probably a while. I would be absolutely stunned if he sit here and plays the Wake Forest game. I think he's out until at least November at this point. Jalen Lane got hurt, so Virginia Tech's back down to having an awful wide receiver core. Pitt looked terrible this past week, and I was low on their wide receivers coming into the season. They haven't really inspired any confidence at that level as well. So I would wager this is the best wide receiving group they're going to play until they play for Florida State. So when you play teams like this, you got to tackle, like point blank. You can't throw shoulders into these guys. You have to tackle.
Here to your right, he does a great job protecting the football, stepping up with his eyes downfield. That is a great job. And then McGowan making a play after the catch. He's extremely electric and fast. And that is exactly the explosive play that Vanderbilt needed in the passing game. Before that, their longest pass. Maybe not holding.
Same sort of thing here. They played back. They're like, just don't give a touchdown. I honestly thought I thought across the board, it's pretty good coverage. Great throw, better catch. Deshaun plays this well. Hand fights with them. Push off. Always commit OPI. Always commit OPI. I physically don't know how he gets his body in. I don't know how he got his body in. So that's something you can't defend. If he's going to sit here and make a Sports Center top 10, tip your cap, move on. As long as it doesn't happen every single play, which it didn't, is what it is.
Acrobatic. 119 career catches for 18 touchdowns, a pretty good one.
Tate was fine there. Thought that was a fine rep from Tate.
Career catches for 18 touchdowns, a pretty good one.
Just easy.
Pass is complete. It's Jamal Banks who already has a touchdown catch in this game, and that will move the chains to Ricky Wright there to keep him from getting any more.
Done a nice job of protecting.
I love when they go a little bunch.
Here today. Let's see what Vanderbilt does.
Griffiths will drop back.
Again, these corners. First off, I don't really know who's supposed to have who at this point, but I think this is an option route from Jamal because I think he realizes that no one is within 10 yards of him, so he'll just come back and be just fine.
How do you not know? I mean, the football is going to Jamal Banks. It's not a secret.
Backfield, peeking. If it's a run or not, you're in trouble.
I wish they would actually show what happened here versus. Yeah, I wish they would actually show what happened versus Mitch just getting lit up. I think the offensive line just didn't shift quickly enough, but
they saw Elon create some pressure.
I think Bull is at least supposed to chip that guy. Yeah, I think he's at least supposed to chip. He's going out on the route. I think you've got to chip at least one of them, and he doesn't. Boom. That's why that might not be on the offensive line, because I think someone's supposed to at least get a piece of that kid. Vanderbilt throws 4. I think that's the first pass interference Wake's gotten all year, by the way. Like, I don't remember one in the Vandy game, in the Elon game. I think this is the first pass interference that they've gotten all year. And they have decided, they have needed them. Keyshawn should have had one in the first drive. Keyshawn should have had at least 2 in the Elon game. I didn't understand that at all.
Before the ball got there. Williams in motion.
They just open up a hole here. Offensive line does a great job. They're down in numbers, but that's what you're supposed to do and stuff like that. They let Juergens get to the second level. Devontae Gordon does what he needs to do and seals this guy off. He's out of the play, so let him run straight. Great blocking by the O-line. I thought Eric Russell was decent. I thought he was good.
Mitch Griffiths maybe pulling this ball was the difference, and that backside defensive end, Darren Agu, from screaming down the line or not. That's what just the threat alone of a quarterback who can pull it and make you pay will do.
To the air.
They just gave Mitch so much time. And I know we talked about last time Mitch needing to have a faster internal clock, but he didn't really need to. They, for the most part, Russell actually does a pretty good job here taking on 11. Does a pretty good job of getting him out of the play. And that is just an easy pitch and catch for Mitch.
At the 15-yard line, Keyshawn Williams.
Oh, snap, don't like that.
Look, this is how they did it the first time.
I don't understand why he's complaining about this. You are hugging the receiver. Like, that's PI every single time. Those corners can't hang. Those corners just can't hang. BJ Anderson's not good. We're not skipping that. This is sick. This is sick. This is an absolute sick and twisted individual lines up like this. This isn't 1950, but it's a jumbo package for them, and it allows them to do basically whatever they want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll throw 6 offensive linemen out there. I believe that is that's Tate. and you got two tight ends here. They're going forward. They're going forward. There was nowhere that else Tate was going to go but just go straight. This is even sicker. This is even more sick. Six offensive linemen. Height looks like an offensive lineman at that point, but he's lined up like one. And you've got essentially Demond, Tate, and I think that's Ryan DuPont here. So basically 2 fullbacks and a running back. Sick. Sick mind. Sick mind. I feel bad for Nick Sharp. He was playing so well.
One-on-one with the DB, and that is a matchup that should favor the running back.
That is a Warren Ruggiero is a sick individual for lining up like that. I would love if they showed actually what happened here. All right, this is where you started getting a little worried and being like, okay, what's going on here? It's 3rd and 6. Mitch throws. That was probably that is a bad throw for Mitch. It's probably his worst throw I've seen. He throws it into triple coverage, gets away with it. I get what he was trying to do, but I think you gotta eat that one. You've got a lot of room to roll out and extend the play. Not really sure why you didn't eat that one. And here is where the game just flips on its head.
So a minute 2 on the clock. Vanderbilt has 1 timeout. Will Shepard is back.
I do not know how Vandy doesn't block this, but it was going to be a first down anyways. But Keyshawn Williams right here just absolutely bullies this DB. That's a solid inch or $2 on him. Bullies him into Shepard. Boom. Keyshawn Williams made that play happen. Again, I've thought special teams are better, and I thought they had some really solid special team plays against the team Vanderbilt. Who, again, I don't think Vanderbilt's a great team. I think Vanderbilt has some really good special teams. I think Lustig, coaches his people extremely hard on that side of the ball. And I thought Wake outmatched them in special teams on Saturday. Progress is good. Same sort of thing here from earlier. Yeah, Wake's just fixed in pretty much prevent at this point. This is just don't give up touchdown. Yeah, prevent, essentially prevent. It's just cover 4, everyone back the hell up. And they think he's throwing it to him. I think he underthrows 3 on the outside. And Deshaun's just like, I'll take that. Again, sometimes just doing your job works. And this is what Wake wanted to do against AJ Swan, is they wanted, and it helped because times were running down, but they wanted to rush 3, drop 8 against him, and just say, you make the mistake, because they knew he would make mistakes. While AJ Swan has a touchdown throw earlier that was a perfect ball, he has throws like these that just make you shake your head. He is boomer bust, and he's a lot more bust this season than he has been doing.
Back-to-back weeks, he's had a pick. Mitch Griffiths flushed on the move. Got the
good run block from McKee. Good run from Mitch.
They'll mark him at the 31-yard line.
You take Nick Skiba for granted sometimes. Take him for granted. I think Matthew Ness is good, but you sometimes take for granted the best kicker in NCAA history. Another one where it's fine because nothing happens, but if that play goes on any longer, Mitch is done. And someone called me a hater about this. I don't really care. Um, that's what Claiborne's got better. He did enough on this play. I don't know if that cuts it against Clemson, against a Florida State, against a hit. Like those are the games that you getting blown off the ball, like getting blown off the line like that, are gonna suffer because those people are bigger and stronger and faster than what Vanderbilt and what Elon have thrown at you. So that's the one thing. Like Damon did fantastic. He was player of the game, named by Wake from on the offensive side of the ball. He was electric with the ball in his hands. That's the one area he's just got to be better, and that's okay. Not You're not going to do everything perfect. He's only a sophomore. He is a lot better at that than was last year. Last year he was unplayable. He was just frankly unplayable, especially because of that. He's always been able to run like we've seen, but that's been where you kind of hold your breath. But it's enough here. Wesley makes every like tough catch. He's a sophomore. He's growing. We have these high expectations for these guys because they were highly rated. They're growing. This is the first time in a while I've actually liked the fact that Wake is going to have 4 games where they should be favored by about 4. Vanderbilt was 10 points, but favored by 2 scores or more. Elon 2 scores or more, Vanderbilt 2 scores or more, 14-ish right now against ODU, and they should be favored by about 2 scores, by about 13 to 14 against Georgia Tech, unless something bizarre happens. But I like that because this is a team that needs experience. They need game experience, and playing not Clemson, not Florida State in the first 4 weeks helps hopefully ease those worries.
Throws a nice accurate pass for a first down.
Hey, an actual slow mesh. The slow mesh got the cameraman.
Nice accurate pass.
This is they ran like 5 slow meshes in this game, and this is one of them. They're actually walking up to the line. Jerkins has done well moving to left guard. I think he's a lot better there than he has been at center. So much time, no one's really open. Vanderbilt this is a coverage sack. Vanderbilt drops 8. They finally adjust on like a 3rd and long. They drop 8. Yeah, Mitch. I don't want Mitch to throw the Grimes there. That's either an incomplete or this guy's going to jump the route. He's obviously covered. Coverage sack. Take it. Take the points. Move on. Fine with that. It's annoying, but whatever. I thought this was a considerably worse game from Rankin. I think he just got a little bit too aggressive. I don't like the angle he takes here. He takes it like the receiver is going to try to cut back in. Instead of going just to the receiver, he tries to anticipate what he's going to do. At this point, you already see he's turning that way anyways. Just go straight to him. And because he doesn't go straight to him, that's a first down and more. But that's the bad part. If you don't play that right, that's what's going to happen there. And I think it's okay that your third corner isn't great at it, but you still want him to be better in case of injuries. Kalen went down in this game for a series or 2. You want to see your backup at least take the right angle on that stuff. And he looked good at it against Delon. Did not do great in terms of this past week. So, new week. Everyone can't be a star every week. Show up. Same sort of thing here with Kalen. Kalen takes a good angle on this. He's just playing. They just asked him to play that far off, so that's fine. It's a good route. Kalen's job here is to not let him get more than that, which Kalen does. Your job is, hey, if he catches that ball, drive, get the tackle, no more than that. So while it looks, oh no, like what happens here, this is just by design. They did not give a flying what about how many yards Vanderbilt had in this game. They knew what they wanted to do. Vanderbilt could have thrown for 500 yards for all they cared, as long as it was between the 20s. Pointer shoots off here. he shoots off here. I don't like this run fit at all. They're charging that to Slocum as a bad tackle. I don't like that on Slocum at all. I don't think that's Slocum's fault. I think that is on Mr. Jacob Roberts. I think he overcommits a little bit too much on there to try to get away from 63. And instead of filling that normal gap, there's now a huge gap that someone like Slocum, who's fast enough, now Slocum's in a bad position and now looks bad because he's now having to take a bad angle against someone that's really fast. At that point, the math isn't going to work out. He's just not going to make that tackle. He might get his foot, but I'm more so mad at a linebacker filling there than I am at the nickel there. Just took a bad angle. No. That's the stuff that can't happen when you play better competition. Is you're supposed to be good at this, and they were good. They were fine with this, but they took some weird angles in the run game, and that I did not like. Can't happen. But it ends up being fine because, again, you know what? The explosives are very annoying. Keep them out of the end zone. It's 3rd and goal. What do they do here? Jacob Roberts, number 40 right here, redeems himself. Defensive tackle clears a path for him. This was actually probably Justice Williams' best rep. I'm going to slow this down. But that's easily Justice Williams' best rep. Justin shoots through. The left guard just can't get a hold of him. Roberts has to essentially push him out of the way, but Roberts gets through, wraps up the running back just enough for Kendron to make sure he's there helping him too. Stop on 3rd down. Good job. You think you might be off the field, but actually it's 14-27. What happens here? Redemption for Mr. Quincy Bryant. So Quincy makes this play go. He reads this perfectly the entire way through. He sees them kind of bunch in. He doesn't overcommit too much. He knows like they're going to run the ball. But instead of just crashing down on the line, he's patient. He sets the edge here. No one is getting outside of him. Like if there's only one place for this running back to run, and it's going to be right into Quincy Bryant. Quincy pretty much stonewalls him, gets some help from Jacob Roberts to help make sure he's out there. Kalen comes in, or is that Chalen? Chalen comes in and finishes off. That's how you draw up that type of defense from the perspective of Wake Forest. Is you can be okay and annoyed with the explosives. You don't want explosives to happen, but what you really care about is what you do at the goal line. And they played that goal line defense to a T perfectly. Absolutely perfect. It was a good play by Vanderbilt, honestly. Better play by Wake that they stayed to their guns. They stayed sound. Boom.
This time they run it with Carney.
Cade might be slow, but he's powerful. He's Tate. Sicko. Sick. I love it, but it's sick. This also isn't a first down. This is a makeup call from earlier in the game, I'm sure, because Damon was not close to a first down there, but whatever. 54 kind of gets a little worked, but it's fine. Arm tackle. Tries to punch it out. I don't know what you want to do here, Vandy. I'm confused. I'm so confused. Just stop trying to arm tackle. You couldn't arm tackle the shifty guy, so you're now going to try to arm tackle the snowball. Like I don't understand. Like no. And then you try to punch the ball out. No, Tate just runs out of gas here. He's not fast really, but he just runs out of gas. That's also why he fumbles here, because he is exhausted. And the reason why Wick doesn't like to sub is because if they sub, then the defense can sub as liberally as they want to as well. Tate's just tired. Tate hasn't really had a fumbling issue from what I've heard and what I've seen in camp. So this was the first time I've ever really seen that. I think he's just exhausted.
The officials signal touchdown. How about this look?
Yeah, he's holding it. He's holding it high and tight, and I think he's just tired.
Gowan moving across the line. His first time on the field.
Every time I watch this, Jasheem Davis just is like has to have double teams.
His first time on the field in the second half, moving across the line.
What happens here? Kalen backs up. He's backed off. Slips. Kalen, if he doesn't slip, he's fine. He's
Second half, moving across the line.
can't slip there, Kalen.
His first time on the field in the second half, and they immediately today coming in for the first down. Again, the message for Swan today coming in was to
Bryce Gangus.
relax. First down.
Again, Kalen's fine with it. I mean, they know they're probably going to give up the first down here. I mean, he's being asked to play this. He knows he's being asked to play this far off. So it's just drive. Good tackle.
First down.
He chops him. He chops him up. There's no other way that Will Shepherd can go. That was bad for Malik. Malik played a great game. That wasn't great.
Pass complete to Will Shepherd.
I don't like that. And this is at this point it's just nitpicking. They identify it pretty well. Jamari is at a weird angle because of the wide receiver there, so not really on him. But Malik just takes a poor angle there. So
Junior Sherrill cut back inside. First down.
got to make sure guys are taking the right angles. That's just what it breaks down to.
Fourth defenders right there, and he just puts a little bit of a juke move on him. They over pursue. Will Shepherd right there to the top of your screen if he wants it. He's been taking that out route. See how soft that.
They snap it to Patrick Smith.
So this is another one where you go, fine with me. You mess up, I'm gonna do my job. Wake Forest does their job. They get on the outside anyways. It wasn't supposed to go to the running back, but whatever. You take it and you move on. You take it and you move. I think they have that bottled up anyways, but yeah, it looks like 44 has the edge. Jasheen's coming across the middle, so they really had anything there either. Even if it wasn't a busted play, I still think they get off the field. But do your job, man. 4th and 4. This didn't look like targeting at the first time. It didn't look like targeting the 10th time I've watched this. This is perfect from Kalen. Because Jalen doesn't force his incompletion, by the way. What happens here is Kalen's playing him at the line. He gets the catch. All Kalen does is just get his hand in there. Kalen just rips the ball through. Like, the hit had nothing to do with it. So that was Kalen did a great job covering that play.
Right in the middle of it. Claiborne got loose.
If you bring a blitz, you best not miss. And that boy missed. That dude just missed a ton. Jurgens comes across and just takes him out, and boom, there's a free reign. His legs don't stop churning, ever. Just ever. Another arm tackle. Stop doing that, Vanderbilt. If you're going to try to arm tackle Damon Claiborne, you can arm tackle any of Wake's running backs. It's not going to work. Like, the arm tackles aren't going to work. These guys are too strong. I'm sure that film room went well for them. Rush 3, drop 8. That's Mitch has all the time in the world because they drop into a zone. Yeah, all Vandy does here is just drop into a zone. And you stay open long enough. You stay up long enough, and wow, magic. Someone's open. Zone is for cowards.
Had so much time in the pocket, and they've been reiterating to him, get rid of the ball when that
That's probably the best. That is that. The other ones are mad. That's actually good. Good gold star for that one. You chopped him down. That is what they want to see. They don't want to see you getting knocked off the line like you did the other times with this. That was an actual good one. And follows it up with a bat. This is where you kind of hold your breath. They've been using that blitz for a while. Damon recognizes it and just doesn't. He stays there. He doesn't try to engage him at all. It's not what you want to do. Mitch gets thrown down. So pros, cons. That's where Damon has to improve, and that's okay. He's done a lot of other things well. Keyshawn just blows by him. Keyshawn really just blows by him. They have this organized actually pretty well. Keyshawn's just faster. He thought he could get a hand on Keyshawn, and he didn't. Yeah, all Mitch has to do is just sit back and just throw a ball up. He didn't even need to drive that, and I'm glad he didn't. Doesn't need to throw a bullet there. He's got enough time. I don't know what this play was. Damon's got to be better there, but yeah, Damon just gets kind of tossed. Height doesn't block well there either. So yeah, Mitch runs to where there's no one at and just tosses it up. Whatever. Your 2-point conversion, move on. Jasheen keeps itching and itching that he's gonna get home. Yeah, Wake's just at this point of the game, Wake's up 19. Wake just said, let's just play essentially prevent at this time and let no one get behind us. So what happened to Brendan Harris is really, I think Brendan just pulls something. I hope it's nothing serious, but you don't like to see a guy just kind of go down.
This season, this is Vanderbilt's third game. Jaden McGowan coming across for this 6 and Wake Forest.
What happens to McGowan here?
6 receiving touchdowns for Will Shepherd this season.
Coming across the formation. Rankin just doesn't have the speed to deal with that, and that is what it is. Just don't give him explosive. That's fine. You're not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. Just don't let him score a touchdown. And sometimes that, obviously for defensive coordinators, you want every play to be a pick six, fumble, recovery for touchdown. Sometimes, especially when the game's starting to get out of hand, you're like, you know what? That's fine. Don't give up a 60-yard play. We can work our way down here. The more clock that churns off is fine with us. Don't let them score points. Which they did. You can see Kalen just kind of backs off at the top. Like, Jasheen had been flirting the entire time of getting home. That right tackle, I think he's a redshirt freshman. Was only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. They don't do anything really special here. They're still rushing 3. Jasheen's lined up wide 9. So he's just basically going to get a bull rush here. Does it? Boom. Yeah, they only rush 3. There's always one guy that causes an issue, and Jasheen is that guy causing an issue this year. So yeah, they not that they didn't want pressure, but they didn't ask them to do that. It's like, hey, cool, if you get home, great. You disrupt it, fine. Galen the tackle there. Where's Galen lined up for this play? Same sort of thing. This is essentially, again, they rush 3 of the late 4th, and this is just a drag across the middle with a semi-little pick right there. This is a pretty much cheat code on 3rd too for any team, especially one that's facing a team that's just not trying to get explosive. So whatever. All you ask is that Galen tackles. Keep on. It sounds like a broken record that's trying to instill like, hey, just because someone catches the ball doesn't mean it's necessarily bad on the defensive back. It's why I don't necessarily like targets sometimes, because it's like they're being asked to play 8, 10 yards off the field, off the player, and just not let them go score a touchdown. What else do you want them to do?
A landing spot for a lot of those guys that are overachievers at the D1 AA and D2 level.
So close. I think they've got something with Bryce. He keeps jumping out at me. He gets off the line pretty quickly here. He's about a fraction of a second late here, but does enough that all he has to do is throw it up. And this is just, that's on Rankin, I think. It's a good throw, but someone's got to play the ball in the air there, and can't let that dude get behind you. See him here. See him here. Looks like Rankin's got him in the slot. Rankin doesn't get a hand on him at any point. He's got to be better there. That's where that one comes from. So, yeah, Rankin can't be a step too slow. London Humphrey's good. Like, he's a freshman. He's good. Wow, Galen's actually asked to press on a guy. What does he do? Easy pick. Also, don't put a freshman on Galen. He's not strong enough. This is such good blocking. And it's only 5 people, 6 with a delayed blitzer. But they do a really good job of just sealing everyone off here. 15, just, I don't know what you're doing here, good dog. Left guard here does a great job, and it's just open real estate for Javon. Just, you can land a plane here. All Devon has to do is just run. Like, and yes, he is very good at it, and that's where it's not taking credit away from him to being like, hey, you did your job here. All you had to do was run. Same sort of thing here. He's a little patient here. He waits for, instead of going straight into the back of the lineman, he sees that there's a hole here, hits it. Look at Wesley grind at the bottom of the screen. Look at Wesley. Wesley run blocks very well there. Good. DeMond's also like strong. I was shocked to see how big he was in spring when I got down there. He's strong. That's just DeMond. The offensive line does a great job of eventually getting there, but patience for Devon is just great. Yeah, he waits. Finally sees the hole. Wide receiver once again. We love this. That's what you need. That gives Devon what he needs to get through the hole. Love that. That might be the best run. That might, like, across everyone. That's not Demon's, crowning achievement in there. But in terms of everyone doing their job right, bravo. Love that. That's what you want to see more often. Mitch takes off. I don't even think that's targeting. That's a late hit. That's not even targeting. It's just a late hit. That was dumb. Mitch Walford, baby. Mitch Walford. I think they're trying to make sure he can stay healthy for later in the season, but I think you're going to see more either design, because this isn't a designed run. This is Mitch makes a pretty good effort here. I think you're going to see a lot more both designed and also just Mitch being allowed to pull the ball more. Sicko. Not that you don't trust Michael Kern. I think they are fine with what they have in Michael Kern, but I think once you start getting closer and closer to playing better and better competition, and you can see them the first couple of games, they're starting to peel the layers back of these are the things we're adding to the playbook, and it's never like they're not doing anything 10, 15, 20 times a game. They're doing it like 3 to 4 and just having some hints, because then once you have those little hints there, then you can start peeling more layers off and say, what if we pass out of this formation? What if the quarterback runs out of this formation? So I think we're starting to see the layers peel back from the Wake offense, and even in games that Mitch isn't asked to do a whole lot, it's really starting to be kind of cool to see these formations and all these different little wrinkles that Wick's putting on seemingly basic plays. So
36-20.
I mean, we're about done here. They don't care how they run here. They've started putting in
40-yard line now.
people who are just they've started saying, hey, just go out there and don't do anything stupid. That's pretty much the at there.
Taken down.
Hey, Jacob Roberts. He's gonna have like 6 sacks this year.
This guy.
Out. Vanderbilt.
He just doesn't stop.
Their third and final timeout of the second half. Please reset the game clock to 1:14.
7 for 26, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Jalen, you gotta catch that. You gotta catch it. He throws it right to you. But again, if they only end up rushing 3 here, Quincy's a spy. Jacob Roberts is got. They're basically just spies at this point. I think Jacob actually has the running back.
26, 196 yards.
They drop 7 or 6 at this point. Excuse me. And he just throws it right to a defender. They were fine with doing this. Like, this is what AJ Swan does, and I wouldn't be shocked to see them do that against maybe, Virginia Tech, depending on what the quarterback situation looks like there. But they weren't scared of AJ Swan. They showed it. They wanted to see if AJ Swan could beat them, and he couldn't. That's your story of the game. AJ Swan could not beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest didn't have to do a whole lot of things special on the defense. The only times that they really got burnt was when they gave up explosives because they didn't tackle well. That's on them. Yeah, this is just good job 44 on this one. But yeah, that right tackle just had a rough day, man. Just had a rough day. BJ, actually that's Justin. Like, yeah, you just had a rough day. I'm interested at that. This is another one of these little fun formations where it looks like Gagnes is in the middle, playing a defensive tackle. Actually, I wish they would show us how this play started, but yeah. So it looks like Gagnes is the defensive tackle here. It's their 3-3-5 look essentially. Gagnes plays their DT. Justin Williams is lined up as a defensive end. BJ Williams is lined up as a defensive end. 2 backers, and it looks like there's 6 DBs around. So I think that's good because I don't know if Justin Williams can necessarily hold up for an entire season at DT, but he's got some good speed to him and some good power. I think using him on a tackle could be interesting and works out well there. We take our knees. We're done here. So yeah, I didn't think Wake was spectacular in this game because I thought that they felt like they didn't need to be spectacular. They had a very simple game plan on offense, which was we're going to run the ball down their throats, and there's nothing they can really do about that. On defense, their plan was just let them do whatever they want. AJ Swan will beat himself. I thought they executed those 2 things pretty well. That's not going to look great from a stats perspective. That's fine. What it looks great at, 20-36. I thought the special teams were great. I thought the DBs for the most part were good. Tackles for loss weren't really there. I thought they didn't fit the run as well as they could have. But I thought they did a good enough job of getting Swan off schedule. And I thought they did a good enough job of just not beating themselves. So that's it for me. Thank y'all so much. And as always, go Deeks.